Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a cryptid encounter video of a story I saw the other day, and it was too good to pass up. I don't know if this is absolutely true or not, but it was too good to pass up, so here we go. But before I get into that, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. You can find the link in the description of the video. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. I wrote a 3-book science fiction Western series called Drifters. I wrote a story called The House Off Farrago Road. It's about a house in New Orleans, just a fun story. It's a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. I wrote a political fantasy called The Righteous President, and I wrote a 2-book series so far. I'm working on the 3rd one now. It's a science fiction, futuristic, space warfare kind of thing. It's a study of humanity from an alien perspective. The first one is Vanguard 1. The second one is Task Force Terminus. Hope you get them. Hope you like them. All right, now on with this one. This one is about a battle that took place in 1855. I'm titling it Choctaw versus Bigfoot. Kind of sounds like a monster movie, don't it? And this kind of is. I saw this video on Pale Horse Investigations. They have some excellent videos. Go check them out. I was very impressed with their reporting, and the story was intriguing, so I looked up the book that they referenced, and I read the excerpt about this event. The story is really great, so I decided to do a video about it. Here we go. In 1855, the Choctaw Indians bordering Arkansas had an issue with bandits. Raiders were stealing food and kidnapping children all along that border, and someone had to stop it. So, of course, they called their version of the military, which is the Choctaw Cavalry. Captain LaFleur gathered a unit of 30 Choctaw Cavalry and set out at 3 a.m. to patrol and find these bandits. They were intent on stopping these raids, which is, a good thing. The cavalry rode for 8 hours and took a break at the Clover River and then crossed that river to continue on. At 4:30 p.m., they saw movement at about 500 yards away, and they got set to charge. When they reached the area, there was a horrible stench like rotten eggs and rotten meat. The stench caused most of the horses to buck off the riders and flee. There was only 2 people, Captain LaFleur and one other rider, who were able to hold on to their horses. The rest were on foot as they approached the bandits' camp. In the clearing, they found a pile of dead and rotting children's bodies. There were no bandits present, but instead there were 3 very large, hairy hominoids eating the dead children's flesh. Big, hairy Bigfoot type creatures. Captain LaFleur drew his saber and charged at the monsters. One of the monsters killed his horse with one single swipe of its massive hand. The captain recovered from his fall, drew his Colt revolver. He fired all six shots directly into the monster's chest, but it kept coming. So LaFleur had his saber in his hand. He began hacking and stabbing the beast. I mean, really going after it. LaFleur was a badass. Any way you want to look at it, dude was a badass. The rest of the men were stunned when they saw the creatures, and before they could react, another of the monsters snuck up behind LaFleur and ripped his head clean off. Just ripped it right off his body. Seeing this, the rest of the men began firing round after round into the 3 monsters with their Sharps buffalo rifles. Now, if you're not familiar, a Sharps buffalo rifle is probably one of the more effective rifles of the day. Back then, it was standard issue in a lot of military units, and these rifles were chambered in either 45-70 or 52-110, depending on. I believe that's what they were chambered in, depending on the unit. These were cavalry, so it was probably 45-70. But either way, that was a serious barrage of rifle fire. 2 of the beasts were killed, and the 3rd was wounded badly enough to force it to flee. One of the men pursued the creature, caught it, and finished it off with his knife. That's another badass. Finish off a Bigfoot with a knife. That's pretty bad. Now, in the aftermath, the children's bodies were all buried. The captain's body was buried, and they gave him a 21-gun salute. The bodies of the 3 monsters were burned in a large bonfire. Now, as I understand it, there is no documentation to prove this story. However, there is a census report that Captain Lafleur was a real person. He did exist, and he did die in that year, 1855. There's no mention of this story in that, but, this story is well known in the area and is apparently a staple among the Choctaw people. They have passed it down through the generations, and to them, Bigfoot is a real creature and is as vicious an apex predator as there is. The Bigfoot that they're talking about is not, they have a word for it. I don't remember what it is. I should have wrote it down. But their Bigfoot is not it's not the friendly forest dwelling creature that we hear about all the time. It ain't Harry and the Hendersons. This thing goes after people, steals children, and eats them. So just, At any rate, I saw that story, and it was just too good to pass up. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.